Sometimes the silence is too loud, like it's covering up something else. It was just another regular Tuesday night. I'd pulled a late shift at the gas station, grabbed a cheap frozen burrito on the way home, and crashed onto the couch with Netflix on autoplay. By the time I finally stumbled into bed, it was close to midnight. I lived alone in a small apartment on the outskirts of town. Nothing fancy, just a simple, quiet place. Safe, or at least I thought it was. Around 3 in the morning, my eyes shot open. No nightmare, no noise, I just woke up. But that feeling was there, nagging, sharp. Something wasn't right. I lay perfectly still in bed, heart hammering. I could hear the dull hum of my air conditioner and the rhythmic thump of my own heartbeat. My eyes adjusted slowly to the darkness, and that's when I noticed. My bedroom door was open, just a sliver. My heart started that low, heavy thudding you get when you're really scared. I told myself I must have forgotten to close it. Just tired, that's all. I lay there, listening. Just the hum of the air conditioner. But then, I heard it. A soft sound from the hallway. A floorboard creaking under a slow, deliberate weight. That's when I looked back at the doorway. And then I saw him. There, standing just beyond the threshold, was a figure. Tall, and his proportions were just wrong. His arms seemed too long, hanging down almost to his knees. He was perfectly still, outlined by the faint moonlight slipping through the blinds, head slightly bowed. He didn't move, didn't speak. He just stood there, watching. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe a coat I'd hung up, maybe shadows playing tricks on my eyes. But the more I stared, the clearer he became. He was real. A chill slid up my spine, not from the AC, but a deep, crawling cold that sank into my bones. I opened my mouth to scream, but nothing came out. I tried to move, to reach for my phone on the bedside table, but my body felt like stone, heavy and unresponsive. My mind raced. Every small movement felt unbearably slow, every muscle trembling. Each inch I moved my hand closer to my phone, my pulse quickened. Is he going to rush me now? My fingers brushed the phone screen and it lit up, bathing my face in a pale blue light. For a split second, I saw his head tilt, just slightly, as if in curiosity. It wasn't a look of surprise or fear. It was amusement. And then, as if the game was over, he turned slowly, deliberately, and melted back into the shadows of the hallway. A surge of adrenaline broke my paralysis. I jumped up, slammed the door shut, locked it, and jammed a chair beneath the handle. I was shaking so badly I nearly dropped my phone twice before I managed to call the police. When they arrived, they found nothing. Every door, every window, untouched. No signs of forced entry. And the weirdest part? My door had never been unlocked. The police politely suggested I'd experienced sleep paralysis or some stress-induced hallucination, but I knew what I'd seen. It wasn't a hallucination. Someone had been standing right there watching me. Since that night, I've installed hallway cameras, changed my locks twice, and jammed a chair under my bedroom door every night. But honestly, I haven't had a restful night's sleep since, because some nights, I'll wake up around 3 a.m. drenched in a cold sweat. I'll stare at the chair jammed under my doorknob for what feels like hours, and I swear, on the quietest nights, I can see the doorknob slowly, silently, turning. Just when I thought that harrowing night in my apartment would be the most unsettling thing I'd ever lived through, life threw something even more bone-chilling my way. 6 years later, we traded the city outskirts for a quiet suburban neighborhood, moving into an old New England house with faded blue paint and creaky floorboards. I thought we'd left the shadows behind, but some things follow you, especially when they've set their sights on the youngest among us. This time, it wasn't a figure in the hallway. It was my little brother, whispering about someone he called Uncle, someone only he claimed to see in the corner of his room. It happened 6 years ago. My family had just moved into a rental house near Hartford, a big old colonial place with a wraparound porch and white shutters. My parents thought it was charming. I thought it smelled like moldy wood and forgotten things. My little brother Caleb was 5, loud, goofy, obsessed with dinosaurs. But about 2 weeks after we moved in, he changed. One night, Mom went to turn off his lamp and he panicked, full-on meltdown. "He is scared of the dark," Caleb whispered. "Who?" Mom asked. Caleb pointed to the far corner of the
Mommy,
room.
look.
"The man who
He's
stands
right
there." We laughed it off. Kids make things up, right? But Caleb got weirder, quieter, almost like he was listening. He started saying things that gave me chills. "Uncle only comes out when it's quiet. He says the quiet is a door, and he's teaching me how to open it. Uncle says I talk too much, so he told me how to listen better." One night, when Dad tried to turn off the light, Caleb screamed, "Are you trying to let him out? He will get mad." That night, Dad slept on the floor in Caleb's room, holding a baseball bat. He said it was just in case of raccoons, but I heard him pacing. Then one morning at breakfast, Caleb looked up from his cereal and said, completely calm, "Uncle says your room will be his soon." I could not move. I could not speak. That night, I set up my old GoPro in his room. I could not sleep. I waited until morning, then opened the footage. At first, it was normal, Caleb tossing in bed, mumbling to himself. But at 3:15 a.m., the corner of the room began to darken. Not like a shadow, like something was seeping into the air. A shape formed, tall, shoulders hunched, head tilted, arms too long. Caleb sat up and smiled at it. Then he whispered, "Tonight's story was scarier than last time." The thing moved, not its whole body, just one arm, long and thin. It raised a finger and gently placed it over Caleb's lips, as if to say, "Shh." Then its head turned, toward the camera, and I swear, right where its eyes should have been, light reflected, like a cat in the dark. I slammed the laptop shut so hard it jumped off the table. When my parents got home, I showed them the footage. Dad locked that room immediately. We moved out less than a month later. But here is the thing. Caleb never talked about Uncle again. He went back to being his loud, happy self, mostly. But sometimes, when a room gets too quiet, I see him freeze. He will stop what he is doing, tilt his head slightly, and just listen. A little smile on his face, as if he is waiting for a door to open. If you have ever experienced something strange or unexplainable, drop your story in the comments. I might just tell it in the next episode. And if you enjoyed this one, do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. More stories are coming soon.